Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at the unique item known as the Word of Hakan. I actually have two of these right now. The Word of Hakan is not particularly that difficult to get your hands on. It has some very interesting effects, and we're going to go over them today because that's what we do in our unique item videos. The Word of Hakan can be ancestral or it can be sacred. It only drops in World Tier 3 and World Tier 4, so keep that in mind. It does have a resistance to all elements, as well as non-physical damage of up to 14%, so 7 to 14. When you upgrade it, it can go higher than that, obviously, so when you put 5 upgrades on the table, it does get a little bit more power out of that. You get ultimate skill damage, which rolls from 14 to 21, and that critical strike damage with imbued skills, which rolls from 14 to 21%, and +1 rank of all imbuement skills, which does go up to 2. Unfortunately, both of mine rolled terrible, and if you do happen to get a 2, there's a very good chance it could upgrade to a 3 later on, so I'm going to have to be, it's a good thing they drop a lot of these, because I'm going to want to find a +3, obviously. You also get a special effect with this particular amulet, which is your rain of arrows is always imbued with all imbuements at once. Now, if we take a look at the tree, what you'll see is that the imbuements are shadow imbuement, which is the one that causes lots of little explosions, and like infects enemies. It's actually pretty cool. We also have the poison imbuement, which allows us to get the effects for massive amounts of poison damage to the target, which is very nice. And then we also have the cold imbuement, which is obviously going to chill and freeze targets and dish out cold damage. And then, of course, you have the passives as well. So each of the imbuements has their own passives. And I have tested this, and it does seem as if the passives are being applied to the Rain of Arrows with all the imbuements. I have not grabbed the poison ones yet, but we'll see. I'm thinking about it. At the very least, I might want to grab, like, I don't know, just grab the passives here for the imbuement skill. Could be helpful since I am using the Word of Hakan. I didn't intend on using the poison imbuement, but maybe one day. I don't know. We'll see. So how does it look? That's the question. Does it look any different? Does it act any different than regular Rain of Arrows? Well, the answer is yes. It totally does. So first off, let me show you what Rain of Arrows looks like with the skill. And you'll notice that there is a very obvious, like, blue, green, and purple effect added to the Rain of Arrows. This means that it has all the imbuements basically added to it all at once, which is absolutely great. And of course, I'm way too low level for these monsters, but that's okay. I can still kill them. Now, Rain of Arrows without the effect just looks like regular Rain of Arrows. So, like, when you actually imbue your skills, one of the things you'll notice is that the Rain of Arrows icon actually changes colors depending on which imbuement you currently have active. This is, of course, without the amulet. So if you're not using the amulet, Rain of Arrows changes the color of its imbuement depending on which imbuement you currently have active, and kind of represents that you have that imbuement, applied to Rain of Arrows. And of course, as soon as the timer runs out, I can show you. But right now I have Shadow Imbuement, and you'll notice that Shadow Imbuement is turning it purple. So if I fire off to my Shadow Imbuements here, you'll notice that the icon turns back to its regular color. If I bring my Cold up and I shoot off my Cold Imbuements, it turns back to its regular color. Now, when you put on the Word of Hakan, you don't have to imbue the skill. It's already imbued. It's imbued with all of them, regardless of whether you fire it, like with an imbuement or not. But what I did notice is that when you use your imbuement, it still changes color, which is kind of interesting. Not exactly sure why that is. However, if you fire it without the Word of Hakan, you'll notice that it just doesn't really have the same beautiful colors as it did before. So the smoke is now just one color as opposed to it being, purple, green, and and blue all at the same time. Now, it's pretty powerful because the passive effects that Word of Hakan has or adds to the Rain of Arrows makes it kind of insane. Not only do you get the, obviously the imbuement skills apply to Rain of Arrows have increased potency, because this one right here gets stronger with Word of Hakan, because of course since you're applying all three, and it's giving you a 20% bonus to all of the imbuement skills. It's a pretty massive little damage bump to Rain of Arrows. And then on top of that, you also have the other things like it chills enemies further with the chilling weight. You also get the 15% increased damage to chilled enemies. You also grab the, shadow damage has a 10% chance to stun. And then on top of that, the consuming shadows has a chance to restore your energy as well, which is interesting. So when you fire off your Rain of Arrows and it kills something with the shadow damage, you're getting energy back as well, which turns Rain of Arrows into an energy generator, which is certainly not terrible. And then on the passive tree, you also got the increased poisoning damage. The poison enemies deal 5% less damage. And then, of course, the increased attack speed for each enemy that you poison. Now, I'm probably gonna grab these passives at some point, because if I'm using the Word of Hakan and I'm spamming this, arrows, I might as well get the effects from it at the very least. I'm pretty sure it also gets these passives as well. So, for instance, with the Shadow Imbuement, you have the critical strike chance against injured enemies infected by Shadow Imbuement. You also have the Shadow Imbuement's primary explosion makes enemies vulnerable. Or you can go with the Shadow Imbuement takes 12% non-physical damage, increased non-physical damage for 8 seconds from you. Both of these are kind of nice, depends on which way you need to go. If you need vulnerable, that's very good, but if you don't need vulnerable, you can get extra damage this way. With the poison, you get a poison duration increase, or you get critical strikes with imbued skills, deal 75% increased poison damage. Or you can go with the lucky hit, poison imbued skills have a 30% chance to apply double the poisoning damage. Poor little 74 wolf just got nuked. With the cold imbuement, you also get the cold imbued skills have a 30% chance to make the enemies vulnerable for 3 seconds. Critical strikes with cold imbue skills have 20% chance to instantly freeze enemies, which is nice. Or you can grab the cold imbue skills, deal 20% damage to crowd-controlled enemies. Double this bonus against frozen. So all of these are actually very nice. And I kind of like this one, but at the same time, I kind of like this one. They really make you choose between utility and damage. Utility and damage. It's like every single time you got to choose. Overall, the Word of Hakan is definitely a very interesting amulet. It's a common amulet, unfortunately, so it does drop a lot. It does have some flavor text on it, too. It says, "Let the great gates of Chaldeum be sealed. Let its proud walls stand fiercely defended. The rest of Kyrgyzstan may suffer this plague, but my city and my people will not." Proclamation of Hakan II. And let's get one more fun use out of this. As you can see, there's tons of frozen enemies all over the place. Now, obviously, the best use of Rain of Arrows is to use it in large groups, because then you get the best effect. And as you can see here, I got a nice large group. And let's go ahead and hit our Rain of Arrows and let it freeze. As you can see, freeze, poison, and dish out massive amounts of damage to enemies that are way higher level than me, by the way. I mean, way higher level. This is my freezing arrows on, by the way. I know she's a rogue. Shit. I play Diablo 2 a lot, and I love the freezing arrows on, so I made myself a freezing arrows on, and that's really all there is to it. Whew. How dare I be a low-level character? I've been having fun with this character, though. She's honestly very powerful for her level. This is only level 54, and she's fighting level 73 monsters with ease, which, yeah. As you can clearly see, I can pretty much kill most monsters with just a couple shots. Even the elites aren't really too big of a deal. Not bad. I've got quite a few more uniques to go over, though, so let's go ahead and end this one here. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals. Oh, you know what I forgot to talk about? The imbuement skills. So, because it gives +1 to all imbuement skills, you'll notice that I have 1 level in poison imbuement no matter what. It doesn't just give +1 imbuement skills to what you already have. It's going to give imbuement to everything. So you get a nice, if you can get a 3, you're going to have level 3 of all the imbuements no matter what, which is certainly not terrible. And of course, if you can get more +2 imbuement skills, like for instance, from a helmet or something like that, I think I have +3 shadow. Yeah, I got +3 shadow imbuement on my helmet. You can definitely get even more. So you'd be looking at like, you could actually get 2 imbuement skills on here, or maybe even 3 on a helmet if you want to sacrifice the slots. But you'd be looking at +3, +3, +3, and then +3. So you'd have +6 total across the board, which is pretty amazing. And then you'd be looking at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So level 11 imbuement skills if you can get it that high, which is pretty darn cool. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we're just talking about the Word of Hakan. And as always, keep watching.